Hi, everybody. So, welcome to Pop the Hood. So, today on Pop the Hood, I was going to talk about suicide prevention, and all that stuff that kind of comes along with all of that. Um, I keep talking to you guys about being real, being honest, being open, popping that hood, pulling out all of those wires. And I wanted to do this segment probably about 2 months ago. And honestly, I've been dragging my feet regarding it because it gets a little emotional for me. So I'm going to try to keep myself contained during this taping. But so yeah, it took me like a couple of months before I could be like, all right, I'm ready to get down and dirty. But yeah, suicide, I know there's a lot of people out there who feel it's necessary for them to end their life for whatever reasons. I whether it's whatever, I can't speculate the reasons, but for whatever reasons, there's many people out there who are hurting right now, who don't know where else to turn, and who feel like ending their life is the only answer and the only hope that they have to not feeling the horrible way that they feel. I looked online for a lot of different phone numbers, and I want to put the phone numbers here, and I also am going to put links of their websites below as well, so that way you do have somebody that you can contact and call, especially nowadays with the way that technology makes it so much easier for us to find someone. So like 10, 15, 20 years ago, if you were having issues, whether, it was suicidal issues or depression issues, or, if you were in an abusive relationship and you had to actually like physically go somewhere to see somebody, and it was so much harder to get help because, especially, I'm a nurse, and, like say domestic violence issues, the woman might come in to go get a checkup and then think in her head, okay, great, I'm going to go to the doctor. And while I'm at the doctor's in a closed room, I'm just going to grab them and tell them what's going on. But then, the abuser comes with them and sits in the room with them and doesn't leave. And you're like, and then you're like, okay, what can you do? Well, there's nowadays, back in the day, it was so much harder for women in that situation to get the help that they needed, and to even just, when I say even get the help, to even just express that they need help, it was just so difficult to do. But technology, the way technology is right now, please, anybody out there in need, if you don't have anybody, obviously the best thing first off is people right there in your community. If there's somebody in your house that you can talk to, if there's a neighbor, if there's a relative, if there's a close friend, if there's somebody at school, if there's somebody at work, if there's somebody on the bus, if there's somebody on the train, a stranger on the train, somebody, you'll be surprised, who will actually sit down and listen and talk with you. But I guarantee that not existing on this planet anymore is not the answer to your any kind of issues or problems or anything that you're dealing with in your life right now. It's not going to make that doesn't make anything go away. So I wrote down, I'm going to be what I'm looking down, and I wrote a whole bunch of different numbers on the piece of paper because I want to make sure I'm giving you the correct numbers and stuff. Okay. But during, I belong to several different Facebook groups and things, and you'll see, a lot of people nowadays are even connecting deeply and intimately through Facebook pages, like private Facebook pages, and talking about domestic violence abuse that they're enduring, and talking about like their husband's alcoholism, or drug abuse, and they don't know what to do, and or they have a family member who's pregnant and they're thinking about aborting the baby. And I mean, there's Facebook is actually, instead of there are some people who use it for not so good things, and they just go on and they post a lot of stupid shit. And then there's other people who use Facebook to really make a difference in this world. And so there's many ways that you can connect with another person who either can even relate to what you're going through, went through it before, who can give you encouragement and support. But please, seek, look and seek, because you will find it. Okay, but I'm gonna read some of these numbers for you guys. I'll start with the National Suicide Prevention Hotline. I'm sorry, I'm like trying to scream over here because this fireplace behind me is blowing the hot air, and it's on a fan, so the fan's kind of loud. I'm gonna scream. But the National Suicide Prevention Hotline number, and this is now national, is just in the United States, 1-800-273-8255, and they're open 24 hours a day. And there's an online chat. It's a text message hotline, nationwide crisis intervention text message hotline. So all you texters, you could be somewhere hanging out, thinking about having suicidal tendencies. You can text this crisis hotline. It's called crisistextline.org, and they're 24/7. Crisis, CRISIS, textline.org. This other one's suicide.org. This was awesome because this had a list of international suicide hotline numbers. I mean, it was so extensive. I was very impressed. I had no idea. I was hoping they had it all over the world. I didn't know until I did the search. But you can find hotline numbers on that page for Barbados, Argentina, Fiji, Ghana, Canada, Malaysia, Israel, the Sudan. I'm like, what in the world? Yeah, so wherever you are, there's people around who want to help, and people who work these hotlines, they really, they genuinely care. They want to help, and they believe in what they're doing. So please contact someone, somewhere. Let's see. If there's an issue with alcohol, there's Alcohol Addiction Hotline, 1-888-537-4948, and that's 24/7 also. And it says you could talk free, with an advisor on that number. There's a National Drug and Alcohol Treatment Hotline, 1-800-662, maybe I can do it this way so I'm not like looking down, 662-HELP, HELP. Here's another great website, recovery hyphen. So anybody who doesn't know, hyphen is the symbol, the little line that goes from left to right. That's a hyphen, not the slanted line, the line that goes from left to right, a little tiny line. That's called a hyphen. recovery-world.com. This was awesome. This was national numbers for various issues. I mean, STIs, pregnancy, eating disorders, ADHD. I mean, it was so extensive. I mean, I was like, wow, if you can go through that list and be like, I never would be interested in any of this stuff, then you had a really good life. And I'm not sure if I'm jealous of you or sorry for you. but, but go through the list. I mean, it's just because, like I said, there's so many things that I can't even begin to describe the amount of stuff that's on that site. So you can go through there and be like, oh my goodness, this will be great for my neighbor, and wow, this will be good for my cousin, and this will be good for me, and this will be good for my kid, and whatever. But there's a lot of stuff on there. So check it out. Please, this is great. I'm just like really excited that we have all these stuff, but these kids don't know how great they have it now with this internet. We had to go to a flippin' library, and when we go to the library, they didn't have this stuff there. What? This is amazing. And then if you try to find out, like you call information because you don't know, then your parents, yell at you because now you got like a $50 charge for calling information because you wanted to find the hotline number. So, meanwhile, you have it for free right on your phone. All right, here's another one. For all you women out there who are in abusive relationships, who have children that may be being abused, call somebody and get some help. So just because you don't leave does not mean that you should not be getting help. And in leaving, that doesn't mean that you're going to be gone forever, because sometimes situations need space and distance to get worked through. If your emotional well-being is getting destroyed because you're getting thrown around your own home in front of your kids, and maybe you feeling like you deserve this, you don't deserve that. Okay. Nobody deserves that. So, call somebody and let somebody know. There are ways, even if you, like I said, I'm a nurse, so I know that abusers do a lot of very controlling things to prevent you from calling, like maybe not giving you a phone, maybe not having a computer in the house so you don't have access to contacting the outside world. Maybe when you go to the doctor's appointments with your kids or for yourself, they go with you. So I know there's many, I understand that there's many things that some abusers can do to keep you trapped. When you're filling out paperwork at a doctor's office, write a little note after you're done writing the paperwork, right before you go up there to hand it in. You can write on there, help, I'm being abused by my husband, and hand it to them. Don't have it on the counter, because a lot of times you go up to the counter and they're freaking talking on the phone, and you're standing there, and the abuser could walk up and see, what the fuck, what the F, you just wrote this, nice, throw this damn thing in front of their face. Here you go. Thank you. Here's my paperwork. And then you can't see what I'm doing, but I'm tapping on the pad, but the pad where you wrote, I'm being abused by my husband. Here's my paperwork. Thank you. Okay, I'll wait until we hear now. Read the paper. Yeah. And then they're trained to get him out of the effing room or not have him come back. So don't worry. We're trained to do all that stuff. We'll let them fight with us. I'll have no problem to be like, I'm sorry. We need to start with her first. We're going to start with her and get her, do her assessments and everything first. And then when we're finished with that, then we'll come get you, okay? And then they'll be like, no, no, I'm coming in right now. No, oh, no, I'm sorry, but I said you need to stay here. So he's not going to punch me. And if he does, he's really, really stupid. So, so there's you have to be inventive if you're in a very bad situation that's abusive, but there's people who are out there who want to help, and and understanding, and like I said, talking about your situation, because like I said, there's some women out there who maybe, who don't have an education, and, I mean, like, you see things on the news and you're like, why, kids being abused, and you're like, why did she not leave, kids being killed, why didn't she leave? And then you hear about her and it's like, she doesn't have an education, and, she comes from, she's living in she's in a trailer, and so, like, and then all her family is in trailers, and so this is like the upbringing that she's had, and so she doesn't know in another way other than this, and when I say trailer, I'm not saying this in a way that is derogatory, so please, no negative comments below. As I was talking about the domestic violence, the National Domestic Violence Hotline number is 1-800-799-7233. The National Child Abuse Hotline number is 1-800-4-A-CHILD. And it's, 1-800, so you got, 4, because you're dialing the number 4-A-CHILD. This is another abuse organization. It's called Healing Women Foundation. 1-800-477-4111. For those of you who are pregnant and need some extra guidance or birthright, 1-800-550-4900. And also for those of you who are pregnant and who are looking to put your little babies up for adoption, they have a Rosie Adoptions, 1-800-841-0804. Now, I have no ties to any of these companies that I listed today. All I did was I just went on one of the, actually I got a lot of the last stuff I just spoke about. I got all that stuff on that recovery-worlds.com from there. So that's the only reason why I mentioned a lot of those, because I was looking for some pregnancy stuff, from adoption things, and those are the only ones that kind of popped out to me. So that's why I was mentioning them here right now. But yeah, so just for all of you who are struggling with whether it's abusive relationship, if you know somebody who needs some assistance for whatever reason, like I said, a lot of these sites that I mentioned today and numbers you can call to find some guidance. You can go to your local churches. You don't have to belong to the church to go and ask and seek help. You can even go to a hospital that is affiliated with a church. So if you see a hospital that's called St. Michael's Hospital or whatever, they typically have priests and nuns who are working there full time. So you can actually go and say, I need some guidance and help. I need to go talk to somebody. And now, you're talking in a safe, secure environment. And, they can also assist and help as well. But I wanted to end this segment with letting you know that whatever you are going through, you are so worth. You are worth the stars in the sky. And if you can see the Colorado sky, it just looks like a jewelry store filled with diamonds. You are worth the stars in the sky. You are worth all the fishes in the ocean. You are worth more the birds in the sky. You are worth more than all the animals on this planet. You are worth more than the riches that oil can bring. You are so worth it. And there's people out there in this world who do care and who would be willing to listen and guide you and help in any way that they can. So please just reach out. Reach out. Reach out. So why this segment was going to be so hard for me to do, like I said, it took me like about 2 months to do this segment, because years ago, I can't even think now. I have to actually put it back in my mind. It's like, okay, because, like when you don't want to deal with stuff, all the people who've gone through stuff, you kind of have a place where you put stuff where you don't want to deal with it. So it's like, okay, all right. So that's where this stuff is. Put it there because I don't want to deal with it. But it's, how old am I? I can't tell you. If I tell you, I'm going to have to hurt you. Something about 20 years ago, my oldest brother killed him. So I'm the baby of the family. I have 2 older siblings, and my middle sibling, he killed himself. He killed himself. He was in his 20s, and he shot himself, put the gun in his mouth, and ended his life. And so I got to see the aftermath of what happens when somebody kills himself. There was times in my adolescence when I was like, feeling so depressed, and I'm like, no, this life sucks, and I don't want to be here anymore, and I wish I was dead, and and just so through my childhood, I felt like I didn't want to be here anymore, and this life sucks, and I just want to die. It'll be so much better if I was not here, and and then I just wasn't as committed as my brother, but for me it was just a cry for help. I didn't want to die. I just didn't know what else to do. I just didn't know how to fix my life and make things better, and so I know the feeling. I know feeling like you feel like you want to just end your life, but sadly my brother did, and did in a major way. Why? I have no freaking idea. Makes no sense to me. I have no idea. I mean, he was extremely handsome. He was tall. Like, and like he graduated from law school, went to Yale. I'm like, charismatic. Everybody loved him, and you blew your brains out. All the stuff, all these years that you missed out. And then once you're here, still, figuring stuff out and floundering around, and then once you get it, you're like, oh my God, like, I can't believe that people actually end their life because, maybe like stockbrokers lose money. I don't care how much money. Like, you're gonna like jump in front of a train because of it? Jump out of a building because you lost $1 million or $1 billion? Things work out. The stock market does come back up. It's okay. so I keep making all these faces because it's like, I'm like, I feel like you can go inside my brain and just like see the life that I had, and see, you're like, you're down and you're depressed, and then you finally start figuring stuff out and you're like, wow, woo, like life is grand, life is great. And then you look back and you're like, wow, if only I knew back then, like how it could be, like those thoughts would never came in my mind. And I know people do stuff like that because they feel they're so down and they're so helpless and hopeless that's where all that stuff comes into play. That's where they're like, okay, well, things are so helpless and hopeless. There are no answers. There's always answers, and the answer, I can guarantee you, is never suicide. Ever. So, yes. So, and then, like on one of these, on the Recovery World's site, there's about eating disorders and stuff. Like, okay, so my middle brother killed himself about 20-something years ago. And then my oldest brother, he died, how many years? 6? No. I think it's about 4 years ago. My oldest brother died about 4 years ago. Was it 4 years ago? Right, because now my mom died about 6 years ago. My mom died about 6 years ago. That means my oldest brother died about 2 years before she did. Oh, I know. Wait. Juliana was about 2 years old. She was about 1 or 2 years old when my oldest brother passed away, and she just turned 8. So that was about 7 years ago that my oldest brother passed away. But and he passed away from a massive heart attack at 42 flipping years old. I am now older than my oldest brother. And yeah, so he, God bless the man. He just, he loved good food. When I say good food, I mean like bad food that just tastes really good. So he just loved food and he loved to eat, and that's okay, but you need to do something else because your body can't handle it, so your body can't handle being, almost 400 pounds. And your body, that's not how our bodies are designed. Our bodies are not designed like that. So yeah, so he died, and then sadly, in his autopsy, because my mom thought that the night that he died, she thought that he had a stroke because he was, having like slurred speech and just like very, he couldn't, it was incoherent, and he was feeling really lethargic and, lethargic, thirsty, and incoherent. Well, it turns out that he had diabetes. He had diabetes, and it was not controlled. And because he didn't want to believe that he had diabetes, and so he didn't do any kind of treatments. And he died. And his blood sugar at his autopsy was 400. So yeah, look, Google it, you'll see. You can't live with a blood sugar of 400. So yeah, hence, that's why he's not here anymore. So that's another thing too. Like, when people, when loved ones are talking to you, because a lot of times, guys, they want to be like, oh, I got this under control. And, when he was alive, I had talked to him about going to see an endocrinologist. I said, because I knew he had diabetes, How did I know he had diabetes? Because he had poor circulation in his legs. so poor to the point it was turning gangrenous. And, anybody in the healthcare industry knows what I'm talking about, but gangrene is, big, huge indicator, one big, huge indicator of diabetes. So his lower extremities were becoming gangrenous. I had informed him about, going to seeing endocrinologist, and he was like, I don't have diabetes. Nope. I'm fine. Everything's okay. It's the Florida sun. I'm okay. I'm like, I'm a nurse, and I'm a damn good nurse, and your legs are gangrenous, and you have diabetes. Please go get checked out. And that was probably about 5 years before he passed away. So, and the kicker, he actually went, I think it was like 2 years before he passed away, he actually went to a doctor. They checked him out, and they said that he does not have diabetes. So maybe he went at a time when his blood sugar was normal. I don't know what the hell they checked for them to say that, but yeah, he had diabetes. So yeah, so all of this whole segment is just, take care of yourself. Take care of yourself, starting with here. And when I say here, it's spiritually. Take care of yourself spiritually. Then take care of yourself mentally. Take care of yourself physically, emotionally. When we talk about wellness and fit, being fitness is not just about, oh, look at my bicep. Yeah, look at my ripped abs. Because you know what? A lot of them are messed up. They're messed up in the head. So I'd rather have, chunky ass body, but my mind's right, my spirit's right. I'm spiritually grounded. I'm emotionally and mentally grounded. And, that is well-being. So, be well. Take care of yourself. Take care of yourself first. Take care of your family. Take care of your communities. Take care of the world. God bless everybody.